The good news about digital marketing is that everything can be measured. Unfortunately, that is also the bad news. The data that comes back from digital marketing campaigns or your website visitor reports can reveal fascinating insights about what the customer wants. Over the past few years, the amount of business collecting and analyzing customer data has skyrocketed. So, how do you avoid getting overwhelmed by all of these customer behavior data and metrics and trends? And how do you decide which of your key performance indicators, KPIs, you're going to focus on? Hi, my name is Chloe, and I'm the author of this handbook, Digital Marketing Like a Pro. Special shout out to my marketing communication and digital marketing students at Odisee in Brussels. Hang in there, guys. We'll get through this. As you know, the PRO in my handbook stands for prepare, run, and optimize. Prepare is all about strategy and planning. Run is all about channels and tactics. And optimize is about continually optimizing and analyzing the performance of your digital marketing tactics and adjust accordingly. Looking at the right numbers is very important. You probably already know that KPI is short for Key Performance Indicator. But here's the official definition. KPI is a measurable value, usually expressed in rates, percentages, or scores, that demonstrates how effectively an organization is in achieving its most important business goals. Organizations use KPIs at multiple levels to evaluate their success at achieving these goals. Now, up until recently, most organizations will look at KPIs from a purely financial perspective. A few examples. The board of directors or the shareholders of an organization would mainly look at total revenue or the return on investment of a particular marketing project. They would ask about the cost per acquired customer to bring these costs down. Such a company's KPIs often refer to more profits being made or profit margins getting bigger. I mentioned until recently, and this is because, in my opinion, modern marketing and modern business are not about making more money or creating more value for the shareholders, but about being prepared to optimize and adapt continually. And yes, there are plenty of data you can mine for that. So here's my big advice if you have to pick your marketing KPIs. Make sure to align your marketing objectives and KPIs to the business goals, whether they are financial or not. Now that we know what KPIs are, it's time to find out where exactly you can pinpoint these KPIs. Let's first have a look at the vision of your organization. In my experience, the vision of an organization is often the vision of the leader of that organization. It can be the founder or the CEO, but it doesn't have to be. If it's your startup, you are the leader who has to come up with a vision. Creating a vision statement is harder than it looks. One of the fascinating thought leaders in the field of leaders and their vision is Simon Sinek. He's known for his TEDx talk, Start with the Why. But in his most recent book, The Infinite Game, he explains that a leader shouldn't try to win the game of doing business, for example, by defeating his opponent, usually the competitor. Instead, the goal of a business is not to win, but to keep the game going as long as possible. A leader has to believe in something bigger than themselves. And this is what we call the vision. A visionary leader has a capacity for imagination, creativity, and stuff that is maybe not even tangible. So, on the level of the vision, there will probably be not a lot of data and numbers you can count on for your KPI. It's hard to put numbers on a dream. So, we let the vision be. What about the business goals, sometimes also called the mission of the organization? Well, a goal is a dream with a deadline. Focus on 3, maximum 5 business goals. A business goal is already more specific and action-oriented than the overarching vision. What is the problem that your particular organization is solving for its target audience? Your general business goal should be to provide and ensure superior value for money for your customers. Making sure that this customer is happy will help you pay your invoices. If you're interested in this, here's another book recommendation, Good to Great by Jim Collins. In his book, Collins mentions a big, hairy, audacious goal. A big, hairy, audacious goal is a vast and daunting, like a big mountain to climb. It is clear, compelling, and people get it right away. Why would you need your business goals to be big, hairy, and audacious? Well, it can help create team spirit as people strive toward a common finish line. It's a bit like the 1960s NASA moon mission. Some companies like Uber or Google will refer to this big, hairy, audacious goal as their moonshot. Moonshot thinking is when you choose a huge problem such as climate change or a pandemic and propose to create a radical solution to the problem using disruptive technology. Google's X company is an excellent example of that. So when you come up with a big, hairy, audacious goal, you're not that far from Steve Jobs' vision for Apple to make a dent in the universe. However, I want to warn against copying Silicon Valley's extreme optimism and ambition. Not every organization has Google's deep pockets. You might need to get down to earth a bit. Your business goals and your mission are still not the right arena to come up with the KPIs. So after the vision and then the mission and your business goals, you need to align these with your marketing objectives. And this is where your KPIs should sit. My book recommendation, if you want to look at the right numbers to define your marketing objective, is John Durr's Measure What Matters. There's this great quote: "In God we trust, all others must bring data." Love it. So customer behavior data are useful not in the vision, not in the mission or the business goals, but they are very, very important when you're looking at your marketing objectives. Dare to be as specific as possible. Your objectives should point out how much of what will be accomplished by when. Force yourself to write marketing objective statements that show how you're going to change a specific target group's behavior from one KPI, a number or percentage, to a better KPI within a particular time frame by using a marketing tactic on your choice of marketing channels. Here's my advice. Always choose KPIs that align with your top 3 marketing objectives. It's nice to show stats that prove that the visitor numbers on your website have doubled in the past 3 months, but if there is no connection between visitor numbers on your website and how well the business is doing, this can be a terrible metric. I already mentioned the book Measure What Matters by John Durr. This book has a table that helps you align business goals with marketing objectives. Jane Durr talks about OKRs, objectives and key results. These OKRs can be tracked and then revised or adapted as circumstances dictate. Just like in my definition of modern marketing: measure, analyze, adapt, rinse, repeat. I assume you already know about the SMART model and how this can help you write down your objectives. Make sure that they are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and targeted and time-bound. I expect you to be able to formulate your marketing objectives according to the SMART framework. We talked about the vision of your leader, no numbers there. The business goals or mission are important because they should align with your marketing objectives. And we briefly discussed how KPIs play a role in your marketing objectives. I will get to those in a few minutes. First, I'd like to look at the position of your digital marketing strategy and how that should allow you to look at the right numbers. I've mentioned the importance of metrics and how easy everything is to measure in digital marketing as opposed to in regular marketing. You, as a digital marketeer, have access to so many metrics, like, for example, How many people have subscribed to your weekly newsletter? How many visitors come to your website? How many orders come through on your e-commerce platform? I know it's very tempting to just look at vanity metrics, like, for example, how many people like your Facebook page. But you have to look at the right metrics. Good metrics are comparative over time, so you can see how the current metric is different from 1 year ago or the previous month. Good metrics must be understandable for everyone in the organization. Good metrics are never expressed as an absolute number, like, for example, the number of fans of your Facebook page. It's always a percentage or a rate. And good metrics should change how you behave. If something is not moving in the right direction, better analyze what's going on, try to fix it, and then look back after a few weeks to see if whatever you decided to fix has worked. Some classic examples of metrics in digital marketing, or for example, campaign metrics. How many people saw my banner? How many people clicked on this banner? What is the CTR, the click-through rate? You can use benchmarks about what a decent CTR is for your category. They tend to be very low, for example, for home goods or medical services, but a lot higher for dating services. A fascinating thought leader when it comes to conversion is Michael Dia, who runs a company called Funnelytics. He says that your metrics shouldn't be about how much money you make. They should be about how much you are impacting your market. This impacting your market aligns with his vision about a company. What is the difference that you're making with their world, with your organization? Some Silicon Valley startups will talk about their North Star metric. This is the one metric that the whole company is looking at. For Airbnb, for example, it is the number of nights booked because it reflects both sides of their business model, the hosts and the guests. Facebook looks at daily active users, not at how many Facebook accounts there are, not at how many people have an account but maybe only rarely log in. Facebook looks at the users that are active on a daily basis. WhatsApp doesn't look at the daily active users. They use the number of messages users send as their North Star metric. And a media company like the Financial Times looks at their reader engagement, for example, by looking at how much of the news articles are commented on or liked or shared. So we know that we have a mountain of metrics when it comes to digital marketing, but how do you analyze these things? The numbers in themselves don't tell you much. You need to analyze the trends in there. So in your campaign, for example, the ideal analysis will try to look at the whole process. This is called closed loop reporting. You try to trace user behavior from the first banner impressions on. How many of the people who saw your banner are clicking on this banner? How many are converting to something else? Only then you can use this analysis to define whether your campaign was successful or not. A lot of social media platforms offer their flavor of analytics. For example, your Facebook page, the metrics I like looking at is the number of net likes of your Facebook page, the number of new likes minus the number of unlikes. I'll get back to reporting later, but right now, the annoying thing is that all of these social media platforms use their particular flavor of analytics. Twitter analytics look different from Facebook analytics, and they are a completely different animal if you compare them to Google analytics. So in order not to go crazy, I use a dashboard software like, for example, Clipfolio or This. Google Analytics in itself deserves a video on its own, but when you log into Google Analytics, there's a lot of information there. The ones I look at most often are user sessions and page views. In Google Analytics, a user is more or less the same as a unique visitor. It is a distinct person, or more accurately, a distinct client ID as defined by the Google Analytics tracking cookie. Then there's the session, which is more or less the page views by these users. In Google Analytics, a session points to the browsing behavior of one particular user. I already mentioned Dash This and Clipfolio. They are not easy to set up, but once that you've linked the interface with the analytics of your Facebook page, YouTube channel, LinkedIn company page, and Google Analytics, you'll be able to make rather good-looking weekly or monthly reports by just a click on a button. Okay, this was a lot of information. In my next video, I'll zoom in on several specific KPIs, linking them to the model that you're already familiar with, the customer journey. In the meanwhile, take care of yourselves, take care of the ones around you. Bye for now.